What is atheism? While this may seem like a simple question, it's actually fairly complex, and there are a lot of misconceptions about what it actually means to be an atheist. First, atheism is not a belief or a religion. There is no dogma, no philosophy, no written code of conduct or set of standards, rules or tenets that you have to live by. It is a non-belief, a rejection to the claims that there is a higher power or supernatural being. Atheism is nothing more than this, but it's a term that many people have a problem with. The reason is that over 80% of America and the world at large believes in a deity in some form. So those who don't believe in God have been forced to label themselves as atheists. If the idea of God had never been constructed by man, then all humans would be non-believers, and that term would be unnecessary and nonsensical. Because no child is born a theist. It is something that is learned, and no one believes in the gods of other religions besides their own. Everyone is an atheist when it comes to gods outside their faith. So how is believing in Yahweh any more valid or ridiculous than believing in Zeus, or Vishnu, or Thor? There are thousands of religions that have existed in this world, and hundreds of sects within those religions. Humans have worshipped a lot of gods throughout history. Atheists just believe in one less god than theists do. Now, religion is a natural development in society. For thousands of years, almost all tribes and civilizations have constructed their own independent faiths. This belief in the supernatural is obviously an important part of our species' cultural and intellectual development, because we have evolved into conscious beings with self-awareness and the knowledge of our own mortality. And our need for answers, combined with a limited understanding of the universe, paved the way to the creation of deities, something beyond ourselves. At one point, we didn't understand what the sun actually was, so we worshipped it. It's human nature to seek explanations for things we don't know or understand, and for most of our history, the best explanation was God. But now we know better. We now live in a time where science can answer so many of those questions. That's why we no longer worship the sun, or think the earth is the center of the universe. And the questions we can't answer, we don't have to attribute to God. Just because we don't know doesn't mean we won't know in the future. And even if we'll never know, injecting God in the conversation is never productive and only hinders intellectual growth. Because the supernatural, by its definition, is innately unknowable in the natural world. Which brings us to the difference between atheism and agnosticism. There's a lot of confusion about what these terms mean, and they're often used incorrectly. In common conversation, if belief in God were put on a scale, theists would be on one end, atheists on the other, and agnostics would be somewhere in between. But this isn't really true, because while theism speaks to belief, Gnosticism speaks to knowledge. Many atheists are agnostic, including me. Because yes, we have proven that much of the information in the Bible is blatantly wrong. And yes, there is no evidence in the natural world for the existence of God. But I do not and cannot say that some sort of higher form definitely does not exist. And conversely, neither can a theist. And if there is a God, the likelihood is slim to none that he exists in one of the hundreds of ways humans have imagined him. Now, you may be grappling with your belief in God. And if that's true, you're an agnostic, because you've already admitted that you don't know. But admitting you're an atheist is much more difficult because the word is so misunderstood and often associated with being immoral and untrustworthy. But it's become increasingly important for all non-believers to come forward, because the more people who come out as atheists, the more it will become normative and acceptable in this country to think it's okay not to believe in God.